Hello, good evening, and thanks for joining us on NTA Nationwide. My name is Kene Ima Abodike. President Muhammadu Buhari is scheduled to declare open a three-day international conference on cross-border movement beginning from 26th to 29th of this month. The conference, initiated by the Ministry of Interior, is coming under the ECOWAS Protocol on Free Movement of Persons, Goods and Services, and would zero in particularly on the Protocol of Transhumance, which was signed in 1978 but yet to be implemented. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports more on this.
The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, embarked on different integration schemes to foster cooperation and development among member states. The most important among all is the Free Movement Protocol. This guarantees the movement of persons, goods and services freely across borders. The protocol provided, for instance, that any of such movement of transhuman should be received at the reception center by the host country, and there, international transhuman certificate are supposed to guide them.
They should also go along with international health certificate for the cattle they are going with. And census will be taken. So if somebody comes in with 10 cattle, for instance, and if he's going out with 20, you will ask him questions because of, issue of cattle rustling. You will also be able to know that animals he's carrying do not carry disease into your country. And you also want to be sure that, they obey the laws within the country. And the issue of carrying of arms, of course, is a no-go area.
It has been established that many herdsmen who are involved in clashes in Nigerian communities were not Nigerians. Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Audu Ogbe, on grazing reserves, cited the ECOWAS Transhuman Protocol as a reason non-citizens of Nigeria are still allowed to graze their cattle across the country.
We don't drink human blood, and there's no need for some of the violence that is being unleashed here and there.
This explains the reason President Muhammadu Buhari initiated the need for the conference to review the ECOWAS protocol to make it effective rather than destructive.
It's an opportunity also to really seek President Buhari's guidance and advice on how best we can advance the agenda of integration in West Africa.
All the 15 ECOWAS countries are expected at the conference, which will also involve Chad, Cameroon, and Central African Republic, as well as Morocco and Mauritania. These countries are facing similar problems as Nigeria. In Abuja, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
In a bid to restore normalcy to the health sector and ameliorate the sufferings of patients, federal government officials met with union leaders over the weekend to find ways of ending the ongoing strike by joint health sector unions, JOHESU, and also finding lasting solutions to contending issues regarding the sector. A statement by the Director, Information, JOHESU, Lawrence Ojobo, says a committee was mandated to review the technical and financial related aspects involved in the demands of JOHESU. Government, however, continues to reassure members of the public that federal government health facilities nationwide shall provide normal services and urges all employees to go about their duties peacefully, as adequate security protection shall be ensured. The high-level federal government team will continue its meeting this Monday and Tuesday. Discovering ways of containing the spread of emerging communicable diseases in Nigeria was the main thrust of an annual national conference of the National Association of Community Health Practitioners of Nigeria held in Katsina. The 24th annual conference drew participants from the 36 states of the Federation, including Abuja. Mohammed Salihu Awal reports.
The national chairman of the association, Comrade Eko Okechukwu Jude, explained that communicable diseases like tuberculosis, Lassa fever, HIV/AIDS are among the easily communicable diseases that need proper attention among stakeholders. He said the need for creating awareness of the disease that are being spread and health education on people for the need of routine immunization is central to the quest. Training and retraining of health personnel and general review of treatment protocols are also important and urge the general public to avoid self-medication.
We organize this kind of workshop to intimate our colleagues about the new innovations as far as our own practice is concerned.
A senior national technical advisor, PACFAT at scale, Ename Abin Abanide, described in his paper presentations as uncomfortable the state of primary healthcare institutions in the country, especially at local government levels. He indicated lack of potable drinking water, poor hygienic environment, open defecation, low level of health education, among factors accelerating the spread of communicable diseases in Nigeria.
Government, the policy of tax shifting or other policy that is supposed to improve primary health care, where are we?
The technical advisor recommended issues on health legislation like primary health care under one roof, timely provision of funds for immunization, among other critical health policies by government. Participants of the workshop also stressed the need for more recruitment of existing health community workers at local government areas to be able to play an active role in the health sector. In Katsina, Mohamed Salis Awal, NTA News.
Winners and not too lucky participants of the 2018 National Mathematics Competition for university students have been urged not to see the competition as contest, but a means for them to put in more effort towards achieving their goals. Coordinator Mathematics Program, National Mathematical Center, Abuja, Professor Peter Onumanyi, stated this on behalf of the Director and Chief Executive of the Center, Professor Stephen Onar, at the closing ceremony of the competition. Abdullahi Musa Suleja reports.
For 3 days, the National Mathematical Center hosted mathematics students from selected Nigerian universities whose talent have been groomed in the quest to improve sciences through the application of mathematics in the country, noting that as they graduate, the nation will depend on their knowledge for scientific advancement. They are urged to strive to become role models to the upcoming mathematicians.
As you begin the struggle now, those of you who will replace us tomorrow, bear this call I'm making. Don't wait for benefits to do your job. Do it to the best of your ability, the young ones. Among you will be professors tomorrow.
Mathematics is the only science course that develops mind of people to be able to reason and to develop things. So you have been trained. So I believe that after your graduation, as you go into the world, you will make Nigeria proud.
At the end of the competition, University of Lagos became the overall winner, which earned gold medal. Other winners too received different prizes.
Consistency, hard work, prayers can take you anywhere in life.
Abdullahi Musa Suleja, NTA News.
The Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs says it is determined to pursue the policy thrust of the Buhari administration in ensuring that women of the region have requisite vocational skills that would make them employable and employers of labor. This is demonstrated through the ministry's ongoing sponsored empowerment programs. Joseph Johnson reports that this time, Ibadan was the next port of call.
The Polytechnic Ibadan Center for the Niger Delta Affairs sponsored training programs which produced these 50 graduates who are exclusively women. Expectedly, they are now better fashion of themselves after being trained on confectionaries and household products technology. The aim is for them to be entrepreneurs. Evident to their successful practice are these displayed products, certifying them ready to run the markets. When you train a woman, you train a nation, Idowu Fayemi says. I'm a mother of 5 with grandchildren and have been struggling to keep up, she says. But that is no longer her story, as she and her fellow graduates help to effectively use the skills acquired to build not just the nation, but the entire humanity.
And with what has happened today, I'm thinking of going back to my state and having myself being established.
This is the first time the women are given exclusive training since 2009.
This effort is one of the laudable initiatives of the present administration, which is aimed at diversifying the economy, increasing food security, and generating employment for our teeming population in the Niger Delta.
Meanwhile, another batch of graduates of about 200 were also graduated on commercial poultry and fish farming.
With the churning out of empowered Niger Deltans from the different skills acquisition programs of the federal government, there is no gainsaying the fact that Nigeria is on the right trajectory towards reducing import needs and boosting the socio-economic status of the region. From the Polytechnic Ibadan, Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
The Nigerian Immigration Service early today prevented the senator representing Kogi West, Dido Melaye, from traveling out of the country. Senator Dido Melaye was billed to travel to Morocco on official assignment. He was released after a brief chat with immigration officials, but the senator took to his Twitter handle saying he was arrested after checking in for a flight to Morocco. The public relations officer of the Immigration Service, Sunday James, confirmed the incidents. Now, experts warn against artificial fruit ripening. Susan Emakudi has the details.
Artificial ripening of fruits with calcium carbide is capable of causing cancer, kidney, and other cardiovascular diseases. In this report, Blessing Omeche Ebute examines the harmful effect of this substance on human health.
Fruits are important components of daily dietary needs of every human being, as they contain certain vitamins and minerals required for functioning of the body. All year round, different species of fruits are available for consumption in the country. With increase in population, there is a high demand for these fruits. In an effort to meet the demands of fruit consumers, some fruit dealers resort to the use of calcium carbide and other chemicals to induce ripening of their fruits.
It can be cancerous, and so it's not good for the body. The agency should watch out immediately and be on the hold so that we won't be kind of bothering our budget on health.
A visit to the railway market in Makurdi, known for the high supply of fruits, shows that there are different varieties available for choice. The sellers, however, refuted the allegation that chemicals are being used to fast-track the ripening of their fruits.
When they carry a corn, they keep am when they ripe small. Because if they cut am, wait, the one will ripe. When they leave am, may ripe, go spoil, all go soft. You buy the rough one, you can go and keep it yourself. You yourself, you see that they don't put any chemical to ripe yourself.
Benue State Coordinator, National Agency for Food, Drug Administration and Control, Francis Owu, says the agency has been visiting various markets and sensitizing them on the harmful effects of these chemicals.
Routinely to enlighten people that this habit is very, very dangerous.
He further advised members of the public to look out for some brownish dark spots on naturally ripe fruits, as they are usually absent on artificially ripened ones. In Makurdi, Ebute, NTA News.
Meanwhile, healthcare service delivery at the Federal Medical Center Makurdi has been paralyzed following the indefinite strike embarked upon by the Joint Health Sector Union, JOHESU. Again, Blessing Omeche Ebute has details.
JOHESU, made up of nurses, pharmacists and hospital workers, had given the federal government a 30-day ultimatum, which expired 12 midnight Tuesday, 17th April 2018. The union commenced an indefinite strike, which has paralyzed activities at federal government hospitals. Chairman of the union, Federal Medical Center Makurdi, Elizabeth Oragba, says some of their demands include salary adjustment, promotion arrears, and environment for its members.
Pressing home the demands of enhanced cohorts,
entry points of other degree holders in the health sector and many others.
Some patients decried the action embarked upon by the health workers as it has affected them accessing quality healthcare service.
I need to receive my results and I need to see the doctor. And they say, I just found out that they are striking. So, I'm disappointed.
Most of the patients at the Federal Medical Center Makurdi have been discharged, while a few others had only medical doctors attending to them. In Makurdi, Omeche Ebute, NTA News.
And that does it from Makurdi. It's back to Kene in Abuja for more on NTA Nationwide.
Thank you, Susan. This is NTA Nationwide. The news continues after this timeout.
Hate speech is not a joke. It incites genocide and crimes against humanity. Most of Africa's civil wars are caused by hate speech from one tribe against another. We don't want it here. The Nigerian government stands firm against hate speech.
Under no conditions whatsoever should we tolerate or excuse or justify hate speech or hateful conduct of any kind, especially where such is illegal.
There's no doubt that the resurgent push for separatism, as well as the rising cases of ethnic and religious disharmony, are all traceable to the growing phenomenon of hate speech.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
The place of social media in cyber fraud and national security is the focus this week on NTA Tuesday Live. The program promises to be incisive and educative. Don't miss it.
At the end of 2017, the Buhari administration delivered a number of unprecedented achievements. Generated power has gone up to 7,000 megawatts in 2017 from 3,000 megawatts in May 2015. More than 1.6 trillion naira has been spent on infrastructure for roads, bridges, housing, dams, and railways. Nigeria moved up 24 places on the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business rankings and earned a place on the list of top 10 reformers in the world. Today, 5.2 million primary school children in 28,249 schools in 19 states are receiving a free meal daily. Our customs service recorded its highest ever revenue collection of 1 trillion naira in a single year. Our foreign exchange reserves grew by $12 billion, reaching the highest level since 2014. We added $250 million to the Sovereign Wealth Fund and officially moved out of recession.
Welcome back to Nationwide on the NTA. We now link up with our Lagos Network studios for stories trending. Hengino, it's over to you.
Thank you, Kene, and a warm welcome to Lagos. 23 suspected cultists, 8 pipeline vandals, and 5 army imposters have been arrested by the officers of the Nigerian Army 81 Division in Lagos. They were arrested from their various hideouts at different locations in Lagos and Ogun states. Musa Toliat reports that the arrests were made possible by the invigorated Operation Checkmate of the Nigerian Army in the southwestern part of the country.
The Commander 9 Brigade, Major General Gadzama Ali, who paraded the suspects, said more than 50 cultists were conducting physical training for new recruits in Egirin axis of Ikorodu when troops of 174 Battalion invaded their camps and effected the arrest of 23.
Their arrest was preceded by shootout between the troops of 174 Battalion, Ikorodu, and the cultists, within which 23 of the suspected cultists were arrested, while others escaped.
He added that 8 suspected pipeline vandals were nabbed at an illegal loading area in Ilara and Imagbon, Ikorodu, where they siphoned petroleum products from NNPC pipeline.
Items recovered during that operation also includes 10 vehicles, 31 jerrycans loaded with refined products, 77 empty jerrycans, another set of 1,320 empty jerrycans were also destroyed in situ.
To be sincere, last 3 years or so, truly I'm doing the business then.
Major General Ali further stated that officers involved in Operation Checkmate acted on a tip-off from members of the public and effected the arrest of 5 army impostors in Lagos and Ogun states. The Commander 9 Brigade added that the suspects will be handed over to relevant security agencies for further investigation and prosecution. In Lagos, Musa Tolia, NTA News.
That's our contribution at this hour from Lagos. Kene, it's back to you for more on Nationwide.
Thank you, Hingino. Now, a family of 3 escaped death Monday morning as fire engulfed part of a 2-story building they occupy at Ahwada Close, Area 11, Gariki, Abuja. Omenka Amarachuku, who was at the scene, reports that the fire rendered the family homeless.
The fire outbreak took the occupants of the building unawares and is believed to have started from the roof. The windows, which would have been the alternative escape route, were barred with metal protectors. It took the effort of concerned Nigerians who promptly intervened to save the family.
I woke up this morning, prepared breakfast for my granddaughter, took her to school. I came back, entered the house. So I was at the bathroom trying to clear up the little things there in the bathroom. And I noticed, and I came out to check to see. And now called, I said, what is it that is coming? I can see smoke entering into our apartment. I said, weird, check the kitchen. She said, no, Mom, it's not from the kitchen. I now said, okay. I opened the main door and now discovered that the smoke was coming from the main door. When I now opened it, the smoke now hit on me. I ran back. I left the door open. I ran. In a short while, the whole apartment now was filled up with smoke.
As efforts are being made to save the situation, the Federal Fire Service men arrived at the scene and took control.
Actually, I would say when we get to this place, or we detect that it's AC fire, what we just believe that Nigeria should be doing, that they should be having fire extinguisher at home.
No life was lost at the fire incident. In Abuja, Omenka Marachuku, NTA News.
What a sad incident. Senate President Bukola Saraki has paid a visit to one of the injured victims of last Wednesday's disturbance at the National Assembly. National Assembly correspondent Dennis Adeguloye reports that during the visit to Mrs. Sandra Devu, who is a sergeant-at-arms official, the Senate President commended her dedication to duty.
The woman being gently escorted down the stairs of the Senate chambers is Mrs. Sandra Davu, a sergeant-at-arms official who just moments earlier had been assaulted by unknown persons during last Wednesday's invasion at the National Assembly. She is currently recuperating at her residence in Buari, having earlier been discharged from the hospital following treatment of her various injuries, which included facial bruising and a fractured leg. Her spirits would, however, be lifted with word that an entourage led by Senate President Bukola Saraki was making its way, slowly but surely, to her residence. Mrs. Davu narrated her experience to the Senate President.
Some lady came to see her, Sandra, very hardworking, committed, and we felt that people like that who have sacrificed, put their life at stake, beyond the call of duty for the institution, for our democracy. So what she's done is something that we all owe much gratitude to.
Something that you were not expecting. It just came like that.
Well, distinguished Senate President Bukola Saraki is directed that she should take all the time that she needs to recover and recuperate, and she should not rush back to her duties. From Buari, my name is Dennis Adigunle, NTA News.
High Prep carry out phase 2 surgeries in Kana local government. We now join Dibabari in Port Harcourt for details. Hello, Dibabari.
And welcome to Port Harcourt.
Surgical operations have been added to the list of care provided for indigent Ogonis in the ongoing High Prep free medical outreach program in Ogoniland. Onenge Fine Face reports.
The large turnout in Gokana is a fallout of information about the success of the outreach in other areas of Ogoniland. In addition to screenings and medications, the High Prep outreach included emergency surgeries to its list of medical care services.
It is good to see people relieved of their challenges, their problems, because the government commitment is intact, is absolute, and we only hope that more and more of this will come their way.
Mr. Zina Wika arrived at the Bori General Hospital with high hopes and great expectations to undergo surgical operation.
When I hear say that these people, they are coming, I say, okay, let me go and try my best, whether I can make it.
Hours later, Mr. Wika was lying on the male ward of the hospital after a successful hernia operation alongside 25 other patients who were operated upon in Kana local government area.
I'm very, very excited now because I'm finished with the sickness. I already escaped the money.
Let's really discover now hernia right from when he was born. So now I'm very, very happy that God has done it for me.
Today now I did not have any money when I go hospital. They charge too much. But now, when I come to this place where they say they are here, I see how they don't do it, and I did not pay anything.
More surgeries will be carried out in Gokana, Tai, and Eleme local government areas. From Bori, River State, Onengiye Fine Face, NTA News.
The Nigerian Army 6th Division has kick-started a week-long inter-formation sporting activities to harness talents ahead of the Nigerian Army National Sports Competition. Kingsley Amaju reports that the event will have participants compete for prizes in various sporting events.
The 6th Division Inter-Formation Competition will have participants compete in football, volleyball, handball, swimming, endurance trek, among others. Outstanding talents are expected to be identified to represent the division in the national competition billed to hold later this year. The General Officer commanding 6th Division, Major General Musa Yusuf, said the essence is to train, build capacity and enhance the physical fitness of officers. The GOC further called for the spirit of sportsmanship while the event lasts.
This week's event, though a competition, is an avenue to gather competent athletes for the upcoming Nigerian Army Sports Week. You should give it your best collectively and individually. Participate, play fairly, don't try to cheat, don't use any enhancement drug, just participate.
The different formations took part in March past, while the 16th Brigade took on 46th Engineering Brigade in the opening match. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
And that does it from Port Harcourt. It's back to Kene for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Dibabari. Time now to take another break. More reports shortly.
An accused person is presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. But does jungle justice obey this? Jungle justice does not ask questions.
Jungle justice just acts.
And when justice is given jungle attributes, it can't be wrong. And the wrong people can be victims. Remember that a life taken is a life lost forever. Many victims of jungle justice may be innocent. Think about this and stop taking the laws into your hands. Suspected criminals must be handed over to the appropriate authorities for proper investigation.
There will be no jungle justice in my community.
This week's episode is titled Jungle Justice. Join your rib-cracking comedy, Professor John Bull, and laugh like never before.
Over and out.
Brought to you by Glow.
The largest data network, Glow Unlimited.
Experience, they say, is the best teacher.
They hold us from the sea. Thank God that we came back home. They should not go there because it's not good. It's a very bad place. So that's just my advice.
Even now, sir, they are shooting the boat they are going to use to go Italy. May they stop it. Our country is good. Our country is a blessed country. Now I know our country is a blessed country. I know before I for not travel from Nigeria to Libya. I know how much I spent.
Let these personal experiences serve as a lesson to all who would repeat their mistakes. A word is enough for the wise.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
Welcome back. The Director General of the National Identity Management Commission, Aliyu Aziz, says identity is foundational and important across the borders. The Chief Executive of NIMC, who was speaking on the NTA's flagship program, Good Morning Nigeria, says this is in view of the forthcoming conference on addressing the identity challenges in Africa with the theme Harmonization of Identity Schemes.
It has become a very important ingredient in a modern society. We need to make sure that it is not fake. We need to make sure that it is unique. And we need to make sure that it is connected to many of the services that people need in their lives. And so the technology is complex, the practices are complex, and it could be costly if people make mistakes in adopting the wrong type of systems. And so the idea behind ID for Africa was to create a forum that experiences are shared across African nations.
A senior fellow, Center for Identity and Executive Chairman, Identity for Africa, Dr. Joseph Atik, says the summit will be of great value to Nigeria's economy and checkmate security activities as over 900 foreign delegates are expected as participants.
All the government agencies, all state governments have been invited because, as you know, identity is foundational. It cuts across all sectors and is important, and it's also not only for Nigeria but also across the borders and the rest of them. So, and in the harmonization committee, we have immigration, INEC, NPOPC, NCC, and the road safety, and all the others that are involved in identity.
They highlighted the insufficient centers as a challenge, but assured that in 3 years, all Nigerians will be registered. Nigerians have predicted that aftermath of President Buhari's attendance at the 2018 Commonwealth of Nations Summit in London will augur well for the development of the national economy. Reviewing the summit on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria, guests were optimistic that the outcome will boost bilateral trade and security in the country. Serafina Okon reports.
After 2 days of deliberations at the 25th edition of CHOGM in London, members of the Commonwealth came up with a 54-point communique highlighting commitments to several areas including good governance, security, health, climate change, among others. Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Jeffrey Oyema, says the outing was beneficial to Nigeria in so many ways.
In the communique, there was a call for action against human trafficking under the secure futures. So that's clearly something that all the Commonwealth countries are called upon to tackle.
The Minister for State Environment, Ibrahim Usman Jibril, also speaks on the outcome of the summit as it relates to the environment.
So when you talk about the blue economy, you'll be talking about the resources in the oceans. And a lot of these nations, including Nigeria, suffer from piracy, not only of the fishes, but people coming to poach, in our own case, the oil that we have, and the consequences of pollution in the oceans. Some estimates put that by the year 2050, there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish.
Guests said President Muhammadu Buhari's presentation at the summit was well received. Serafina Okon, NTA News.
Nigerians in the United States of America have put in place a credit union to fund investments that would enhance the country's development. The union was inaugurated by Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, Emir of Kano, at the first U.S.-Nigeria Investment Summit in Washington, D.C., where he called on government officials to show more vigor in attracting foreign investors. Lee Katung Babatunde has details.
The Nigerian government has been keen on building a globally competitive economy with the much-needed resources and infrastructure to back it up after it emerged from a recession over a year ago. It is said that 1 in every 4 black persons is a Nigerian, and a large proportion of them are spread across the globe. Making Nigeria conducive for business is a necessity for the diaspora gathered here to rub minds with investors from other nations. The first ever summit did not get the expected takeoff.
We need to just look at those kinds of things that investors look at and have a very honest conversation, sector by sector, region by region, state by state. What do we need to do to make those areas attractive?
So the credit union is meant to harness the resources of the diasporans, and will apply it in a better way than doing it individually.
This is the time for us to invest in our country, because there is nowhere today that you can invest and make money like our own country.
The Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, ERGP, is gaining global support, and the summit availed Nigerian institutions with the opportunity to source for investors for the ambitious target, which aims to diversify the economy and create more opportunities for growth.
We have stabilized our political space, and we think we can build on that for greater good of our people and the world in general. So this is the time for people to look the way of Africa and the way of Nigeria, so that jointly we can make meaningful contributions to society.
Majorly, we are looking at the area of technology transfer, as the number of farmers that are being covered by Bank of Agriculture increases. There's need for us to automate our process. We are also looking at variety of inputs.
They're talking about pragmatic issues. They're not getting preoccupied with complaints or policy issues, and they're looking at B2B, business to business, and B2G, business to government transactions. So I find that this one is much more effective and robust than the typical Africa or Nigeria business conference.
Because most of the youth, it's not that they don't have something to do. Yet they have something to do, but they need support. How do you support them?
The summit is tagged Nigeria is open for business, and the Nigerian Embassy in Washington intends to make it an annual investment event. Leah Katung Babatunde, NTA News.
The federal government says the international community is supportive of steps it is taking to ensure the realization of the objectives of Nigeria's Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, ERGP. Minister of Budget and National Planning, Senator Udoma, at the World Bank International Monetary Fund, IMF spring meetings in Washington, D.C., also disclosed that the 2018 budget will soon be passed. Again, Lee Katung Babatunde completes the story.
It is more than a year since the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, ERGP, was launched. Nigeria's medium-term plan that aims to drive holistic national development. With 2 years before the end of its targeted lifespan, Minister of Budget and National Planning, Udoma is confident Nigeria will attain 7% growth by the year 2020. With the focus labs ongoing, the minister said the results will be made public in the next 2 weeks, a good signal to some investors whom he said had met with the government's delegation at the spring meetings and have expressed interest in the country's agriculture and transportation sectors.
1, there's a lot of interest in Nigeria. 2, there's a lot of support for Nigeria. 3, they acknowledge the positive developments that are going on, and they acknowledge that we're on the right track. We just need to accelerate a bit on some of our measures.
With the second quarter on the way, the Director General Budget Office of the Federation, Ben Akabuizi, says steps are being taken to reduce high level of recurrent expenditure with a deliberate effort not to shrink the workforce.
At this time, that's not an option that government is looking at to sack personnel or and therefore the focus is more now on containing other costs of government, non-personnel costs of government, and shoring up, the revenues.
The Budget and Planning Ministry is working with the Finance Ministry to cut costs and boost revenue to run the economy. And the spring meetings is a channel through which the government is seeking investors for the critical sectors. Leah Katungbaba today, NTA News.
In developing countries like Nigeria, road transportation is most patronized among other modes of transportation, mainly due to its large coverage and ability to easily link towns, villages, and communities. Although having the second largest road network in Africa, Nigeria has ironically been faced with deplorable condition of its road in spite of huge yearly budgetary allocation for development and maintenance. Works and Housing correspondent Mohammed Hamza Sheikh examines efforts of the Buhari administration to change this trend.
The major federal roads that links Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara and Niger states were abandoned for many years until between 2011 and 2013, when the past administration awarded the contract for the total construction and rehabilitation of some affected roads. In August 2016, the present administration re-awarded the contract of the over 300 kilometers Sokoto, Jega, Kwantagora road and mobilized the contractor back to site. So far, the 126 kilometers Sokoto Jega road has been completed, while work on the portion of Jega Yauri Kontagora has now resumed in earnest.
Work is going on at the Keri Bridge, and there is work now at the Jega Birni Yauri road. Another development, if you see, there is this land rent taking place along this Channel 127. Which is a remarkable achievement.
Nuratanko Akili from Birnin Kebbi reports that with the resumption of work, the project is expected to be completed before the end of the year. As at the time NTA News visited the site, heavy-duty machines were seen busy executing the project to the delight of the road users. Similarly, from Gusau, Zamfara State, Jamilu Ibrahim reports that all the 9 federal roads which cut across all the 3 senatorial zones neighboring Sokoto, Kebbi, Katsina and Kaduna states are receiving attention, with some of them, notably the 50-kilometer Aikitakwas Gumi Sokoto border road, 68-kilometer Kauran Namuda Jibia road already completed and commissioned. Zamfara State Commissioner of Works Mo'aru Nalado said the state government will continue to partner with the federal government towards the rehabilitation of federal roads in the state. The current road projects within Sokoto, Kebbi and Zamfara State axis, if completed, will facilitate not only interstate transportation but strengthen economic activities between Nigeria, Niger Republic, Benin and other neighboring countries. In Sokoto, Abraman Usman Jibrila, NTA News.
That, of course, was by Abdurrahman Jibrila. Commuters have described as unprecedented the attention being given to federal government roads projects in Niger State. Mokhtar Abubakar Wawal, who visited the sites of the project, has an update.
Has the highest number of federal road networks in the country, spanning about 2,400 kilometers.
More than 60% of the roads are in deplorable condition. Some require rehabilitation, some maintenance, while some need complete reconstruction. Even though contracts were awarded by the immediate past administration for the reconstruction and dualization of the 94.5 kilometer Sule-Jamina Road, the 52.3 kilometer Agaye-Kachabaro Road, and the about 100 kilometer Kontagora-Yauri Road, insufficient funds and sometimes zero budgetary allocation halted the work. With the intervention of the Sukuk loan and payment of the backlog of bills, work is now ongoing concurrently on the first and second phase of Suleja Minadwal Carriageway. Work resumed on the Age Kachabaro Road as the federal government promised to pay the contractor outstanding entitlements.
Now that funds are coming regularly, we never stop the job.
Although the Kontagora Yauri Road had reached 82% completion, it had to be suspended due to lack of funds. Federal Controller of Works, Niger State, however, says,
I was informed that some reasonable payment has been made to the contractor out of what we are owing him before. So, and the contractor told me that by next week, he will move back to site and finish up that 18 kilometers remaining. Funding is the major problem. And now that the funding is coming up, the contractors are waking up.
Baba is doing fine. It's easier for the road.
We thank God for the progress now.
So the construction is good, truly.
Residents of the benefiting communities say the road construction has impacted positively on their lives.
No, they should be there. So I really enjoying them, as in they are really trying.
I used to serve for the workers. From the gain, I used to feed myself.
When completed, it is expected that these roads would boost socio-economic activities of the state. Mukhtar Abubakar, NTA News.
We will bring you more reports right after this break. Stay with us.
An accused person is presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. But does jungle justice obey this? Jungle justice does not ask questions.
Jungle justice just acts.
And when justice is given jungle attributes, it can't be wrong. And the wrong people can be victims. Remember that a life taken is a life lost forever. Many victims of jungle justice may be innocent. Think about this and stop taking the laws into your hands. Suspected criminals must be handed over to the appropriate authorities for proper investigation.
There will be no jungle justice in my community.
This week's episode is titled Jungle Justice. Join your rib-cracking comedy, Professor John Bood, and laugh like never before.
Over and out.
Brought to you by Glow.
The largest data network, Glow Unlimited.
Experience, they say, is the best teacher.
They hold us from the sea. Thank God that we came back home. They should not go there because it's not good. It's a very bad place. So they just may have us. Even now, sir, they are shooting the boat they are going to use to go Italy. May they stop it. Our country is good. Our country is a blessed country. Now I know our country is a blessed country. I know before I for not travel from Nigeria to Libya. I know how much I spent.
Let these personal experiences serve as a lesson to all who would repeat their mistakes. A word is enough for the wise.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
And for developments on the international scene, Nancy Goldie-Anthony, who has details.
Hello and welcome. Libyan coast guards have recovered bodies of 11 migrants off Libya's western shore who died trying to cross over to Italy. More than 80 migrants survived the incident. A second boat carrying 200 migrants, including 38 women and a child, was intercepted east of Tripoli. The two boats were carrying Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi and African migrants. In another development, Indian government has moved to prescribe death penalty for people convicted of raping girls under the age of 12. This, authorities say, is to combat an increase in crimes against women, especially the recent raping to death of an 8-year-old girl and other attacks on children. The order is being sent for President's assent and requires Parliament's approval within 6 months to become a law. Now, the first big face-off at the Supreme Court over President Donald Trump's immigration policies is set for Wednesday, when the justices here are challenged to the lawfulness of his travel ban, targeting people from several Muslim-majority countries. This, reports say, presents a test of the limits of presidential power, looking at the policy announced in September, which blocks entry to the U.S. of people from Iran, Libya, Somalia, Syria, and Yemen. And that's it from here. Thank you for watching.
National Grassroots Sports Festival opens in Abuja Tuesday as Dayak Tennis Championship enters day 2, also on Tuesday. Amazi Marcus has more on Sports Update.